Hello there.
General Kenobi! You are a bold one.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Battlefront Updates and some exciting Star Wars Battlefront 2 news, because we just received the Hero Voices community transmission that reveals the voice actors for all the 4 upcoming Clone Wars heroes, as well as plenty of voice lines from both General Grievous and Obi-Wan. There has been a lot of speculation, fake leaks, probably some legit leaks, and some fake news about the voice actors that are gonna voice these upcoming 4 heroes, but now we know for sure which 4 it is. And it is the original 4 that was in the Clone Wars series. For Obi-Wan Kenobi we have James Arnold Taylor, for Anakin Skywalker we have Matt Lanter, and for General Grievous we have Matthew Wood. And lastly for Count Dooku, Corey Burton. All 4 reprised these roles in the Clone Wars series, which means that this is the actors that I think most of us expected and hoped would be playing these characters, as otherwise it would be quite jarring to hear a voice that we do not recognize with these characters, since these are the kind of characters we've heard so many times in the animated series. The community transmission goes into some interesting details on how they've picked out the specific voice lines and so on, and a lot of it comes straight from community feedback. You might remember that they had these focused feedback threads for all of the 4 heroes where we could suggest our lines that we wanted to hear, and that's where some of the lines came directly from. For instance, "Your screams are music to my audio receptors," a line that comes from the original Battlefront 2 game, is something that we suggested and they now put into the game. And another one that I think is really interesting, and I didn't expect them to put it in the game, is Obi-Wan's quote saying, "When I cut you in half, I should have aimed for your neck instead." Because that's not something we've ever heard Obi-Wan say, as far as I know. And it does make sense though. I mean, yeah, he should have gone for the neck instead of his waist. So the fact that we will be hearing that in the game is really cool. And that also confirms that we will be having some one-on-one dialogue with the old heroes in the game. So it's not just gonna be the emotes, the victory poses, and potentially between the new heroes, but there will be stuff such as between Obi-Wan and Darth Maul that is going to be specific for those. And the question then is, how many different ones we'll have? Will Obi-Wan have with every single existing hero, or will it just be with a couple of them, such as Darth Maul? It's tricky to say, but it probably depends on how much they recorded in advance back when they did the original voice recordings, and if they recorded lines for future use, simply put. And another thing that I think is really interesting regarding General Grievous and Matthew Wood is the fact that he's not only a voice actor, but he's also a sound engineer, and he actually makes the post-processing work on his lines by himself. So he doesn't just go into the studio, record it, hand it over to DICE to sort it out, but he does all the post-processing himself to make sure that it sounds exactly like General Grievous is supposed to sound. And that's really perfect to hear, because that means that we will get it exactly like he's supposed to sound, like he sounded in the Clone Wars series, like he sounded in the movie, because this guy is not only the voice actor, he is also the post-processing engineer as well. But if we then move on to the actual voice lines, I want to clarify here that these are not all of the voice lines that are going to be in the game. Ben did say out on Twitter that this is just a fraction of the ones that are going to be in the game, so don't worry if your favorite one isn't here. But if we start off with General Grievous, we have the following ones. "You are a bold one." Not a surprise there. "Your lightsabers will make a fine addition to my collection. You must realize you are doomed. I wield great power, Jedi fool. The story of Obi-Wan ends here. Make peace with the Force now, for this is your final outing. Your screams are like music to my audio receptors. The Kaleesh are not known for their mercy." So I'm very excited to hear that lines like that last one about the Kaleesh are actually gonna be in the game, because we never hear him mention the Kaleesh, neither in the movie or not even in the Clone Wars series as far as I know. But it is canon that he is Kaleesh, and if you didn't know, he was a Kaleesh and then he became a Kaleesh cyborg, I guess we could say. So that's the race he is under the robotics, simply put. And if we move on to Obi-Wan, we have "Hello there." I would have been very disappointed if that wasn't there. "So uncivilized. Why do I get the feeling you're going to be the death of me?" I really hope that's going to be one that's specifically when he's with Anakin. "When I cut you in half, I should have aimed for your neck instead. You haven't exactly impressed me today. The strongest defense is a swift and decisive offense. I understand you've had some troubles recently. Like bathing in a lake of venom mites. So there's some really interesting lines here, some that we recognize from the movie that are gonna be specifically with Anakin, I'd assume, but also some interesting one like the venom mites. I'm honestly not really sure where that comes from, if it's a reference to something that I don't remember in the Clone Wars series, or if it's just some random line that they came up with, which is also cool, because I think that's the main thing here, having this mix of brand new lines that we've never heard before, but that do still fit their characters, combined with the classic memeable lines that we have heard and seen in prequel memes about a million times now. So I think both of those sides are important, and this is a very good start to the list of the different voice lines. And again, this is not all of them, so more will be in the actual game. And I also wanted to add that next week we are getting a General Grievous community transmission that will be going over everything such as abilities, emotes, appearances, and much more. And then a week after that we're getting the General Grievous update together with its community transmission. So we got something coming every week up until the release of General Grievous. And lastly, I wanted to say that according to this tweet from Ben, it seems like we might be getting some behind the scenes footage of this voice recording session in the Star Wars show later tonight, which I'd imagine will be maybe around 5 hours from when this video goes live. So I will probably have a separate video for that or live stream when it happens. We'll see. But yeah, that is all for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.